brother and my best friend is Aaron Klein. Mine's a little bit longer.
5 pages.
It's not as long as the itinerary I got for this work. It's only 2 pages. A little bit of a housekeeping thing first. One of the traditions that we have in the United States is we have a picture frame in the back with a border around it that my parents made and brought. And if people could sign it, maybe leave a little message. There's not a lot of room because most of my family decided to take up probably 90% of it. But if you want to sign your name or leave something small in there, I'd be very grateful. Aaron's holding it up in the back. And there's also a photo album in the back. We didn't get a chance to do a video, but there is a photo album in the back with Jason and lots of pictures. So if you have a chance, take a look at that as well.
Aaron, the shirt.
Oh, and there's a shirt back there that Jason drew for a family reunion, probably
1990.
when he was 14. So he was going to do cartoons of the characters that he drew in that. He always thought that that was his character. He was going to make something of himself with that. But take a look and you'll see why he did not. And before I get started, I'd also like to acknowledge, a lot of you guys don't know us. We have another brother. And before I even get into that, since my dad cries and Jason cries, I'd like to warn you that I'm not going to be as strong as the other Aaron, so I probably will cry during this. But we have another brother named Kevin, and he unfortunately was not able to make it today. He definitely would like to express his love. And one request, if I do start crying, could you take the focus off me by hitting your glasses? All right, Jay, so I heard you were surprised when Mom told you we were coming to Australia to celebrate your big day. She told me you even cried a little bit. So I guess the question is, why would I fly around the world on a moment's notice while spending lots of money and omitting myself from 1 full week of celebrating Christmas with my 2 beautiful daughters and wife just to be at your wedding? And before I get into the next part, there are a lot of inside jokes in here, so if you don't know them, you can feel free to ask Jason a little bit later. Maybe the answer is that I want to be an eyewitness, even if I don't know who all of you are. I could be here to confirm in person and for everyone back home that you convinced Belinda to commit her life to someone with such an oversized head and small ears. And to confirm that you finally gave up on your eternal Seinfeld episode of dating women and always finding one little thing wrong with each partner, using that as an excuse not to commit. Maybe I'm here because I want to see what outfit you might wear, although I understand that these days Belinda is dressing you, but I do remember back in high school, some of those homecoming outfits that you wore, which were absolutely hideous, that I'm sure you probably would have tried to have worn if you didn't have somebody with good fashion sense finally. Or in college, some of your Halloween costumes. For example, the menstrual cycle. That involved a completely, I shouldn't go into it, but if you have a chance to ask him for pictures, I would recommend you doing that. I'm sure there's people still telling stories about the most disturbing costume they've ever seen. Maybe I'm here because I wanted to see you introduce Belinda's family to your horrible dance moves. I'm not sure if you remember this, but there was a time at OU, it's our college, that you and I went on a double date, and we went to the only dance club at school. And I remember sitting there, or on the dance floor going, man, we got to get out of here because we're not going to have a chance with these girls with Jason's moves like this. And on the way out, Jay pulls me aside and he says, I'm so glad we are leaving because you are the worst dancer I've ever seen. And you're the reason we don't have a chance tonight. I'm like, okay, maybe I'm here because I want to see the possibility of what might happen because of your frequent lack of common sense. Like when you chased a skunk into a storm pipe and you got sprayed in the face and decided to run into the house and make all of us endure your brilliance. Or the time when you asked Dad to fix a light bulb when the light went out. Or when you asked Mom to bake cookies, if you could bake cookies on a saran wrap. More probably I'm here because sometimes I try to live life to its fullest, something that you embody every day. You've always been more concerned about the adventure than the outcome, like your trip through Canada, when you let others plan your destination via Facebook, not having any clue what was in store for you the next day. You know, one of my favorite memories of my trip to Mexico was the adventure you sent me on through Isla Mujeres, when you gave me 4 envelopes before I even left for vacation. And you told me not to open them until I got to a certain destination. And every destination was something important, something critical. And you sent me on a makeshift adventure, and it was awesome. Maybe I'm here to witness one more thing in your life just happening to fall into place. Honestly, how many people at the age of 39 would accept a job in another country only to find the love of his life and then get the engagement professionally filmed? I mean, seriously, you followed your love of baseball and ended up with a girl. It's kind of ironic because your dating life has mostly been a lineup of women with the goal of seeing how quickly you could get to third base. Well, certainly, in a different sense, you hit a home run with Belinda. I've only talked to you, Belinda, a few times, but it's quickly evident that you have so many good qualities about you. Besides, apparently now you're Jason's new best friend. You're beautiful, smart, caring, independent, challenging, and so much more. There's so much personality and depth to you that I really look forward to seeing you both live your lives together and hopefully raise a family someday. Assuming Jay can still get it up after being So now back to the original question. Why would I fly around the world on a moment's notice, this time of year, leaving my family at home? This is where I start crying. Alright, the answer is actually pretty simple. It's because I love you so much, and you've always been there for me. In high school, you accepted me more than an older brother should accept his younger, more awkward, less fun brother. At college, you always opened your house and your fridge, even when your roommates didn't want me there. It was very emotional when I visited you in San Diego to tell you that you'd soon be an uncle, knowing how far away you'd always be. Through your gifts and love, you've certainly made it a point to be a part of my family, regardless of distance. Now it's time for me to be a part of yours. On the first day you start your family, regardless of distance. Jason, you're one of the smartest people I know. You've always thought everything through and studied how to maximize your results. It's good to finally see you giving into your heart, letting go, and giving your whole self for love, while not worrying about the results, just the adventure. Marriage and parenthood are certainly an adventure, and even though you haven't found that one quirk of Belinda's, we all have them. I just pray that both of you make sure that you have more ups and downs in bed. There's nothing more rewarding or more challenging than being a family, but the adventure is priceless. And Belinda, I feel very lucky to be the first person to welcome you with open arms to our family. I'd like everybody to lift their glass. Glass. And think of how lucky you are to have been invited to the first day of Jade and Belinda's new adventure.
Okay, so clearly the RNs are